Now, whenever anyone makes a video and they say they don't want you to know the truth about money or whatever, my question is always, who are they exactly, okay? And the they in this video, it's really Wall Street. It's really investment companies. It's really investment bankers. It's really, for example, businesses. It's really people that teach you about money but don't want you to learn how money actually works. Don't want you to learn the truth about money. And here's the very first thing I want to tell you guys, okay? Money is not that complicated. But if I get paid to fix your money problems, if I can make money seem complex and very hard and hard to manage, guess what? You're always going to be paying me because you think you're just too dumb to figure it out. But the truth is, you're not too dumb. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna tell you the 5 truths when it comes to money. And by the way, I thought I was too dumb. Turns out after reading a lot of books about money and being on this platform talking about money for years now, the answer is money is really just a few principles. And they're very simple to do, but very hard to practice. And that's what I'm gonna break down in this video. Do me a favor, by the way, and smash the like button. Now, the very first thing, guys, I actually wanna do with you guys is an exercise, all right? I want you to question why you think the way you think, all right? So for a second, I want you to close your eyes or just think. And I want you to picture, what do you picture when I say somebody that is rich, somebody that's a millionaire? Like, what do they drive? Where do they live? What are they wearing? Where do they go, okay? What do they talk about? And for a second, if you want to comment, feel free to comment, but you don't have to comment because I already know exactly what you're thinking. When I used to think about these things, I would always picture a rich person, luxury vehicle, fancy house, fancy wife, crazy nice clothes. They talk about money all the time, and they probably go to expensive restaurants and vacation and all this stuff. And then I'm like, where do these ideas come from, all right? And the answer is, these ideas are not factual. These ideas are ideas that I've basically been indoctrinated by the system, or for example, just a lot of movies, a lot of TV, a lot of Instagram, a lot of social media. That's what we actually get fed. The idea that the rich people are those people that just spend a lot of money. Guess what? That's not true. If you actually read The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley, you come to find out that that person you just imagined with the fancy plastic surgery, that's not them, okay? It's not them. It's actually a guy in his late 50s. He became a millionaire. He never inherited any money. He worked a 9-to-5 job regularly. He eats at his favorite Mexican spot. He wears normal clothes. He lives in a normal neighborhood, and he drives 3 brands, okay? Ford, Honda, or Toyota. That's basically it. There's no Maserati, there's no Porsche, there's no BMW, there's no Mercedes. More than often, these things are absent. There's no Rolex, there's no fancy suits. These people are very frugal. So if that's the real millionaire, according to the data, then why do we believe the rappers, the social media, and everything else? The answer is we have been brainwashed. So as you watch this video, there is one tip I want to give you. When you're surrounded by broke people where everyone basically thinks the same and they all believe the same lies, you have to become very purposeful about who you listen to and what you actually spend your time doing. So my advice is read a lot of books about money, just basic personal finance books like The Millionaire Next Door, The Psychology of Money, The Richest Man in Babylon, the little book about common sense investing. There's so many great books out there. For example, also Your Money or Your Life. If you read these books and you keep reading and reading, what's actually going to happen is, I'm not promising you you're going to be rich tomorrow, but I am promising you that if you keep reading, you're going to keep changing the way you think. The lies you believe about money, they're going to just be, you're going to be disillusioned, which is actually a great thing because you won't any longer believe the illusion you actually believed before. You're actually going to know the truth about who millionaires are, what they actually do, and how you can actually become one. Now, here are the 5 truths I actually want to get into, okay? Number 1, the number 1 wealth secret It's not a stock specifically. It's not investing into real estate. It's not doing something big and massive. It's just literally one thing. And that one thing is compound interest, okay? Compound interest is you literally invest in money and that money making more money, and the money that it made and the money you had before coming together makes even more money. So basic idea is I have $100 invested. I get paid 10% every single year. Guess what? $100, I receive $10 in interest. But now guess what? Next year, I'm getting paid 10% on that $110. So now I'm going to receive not $10, but $11. And next year I get paid on the $121. So even more money and more money and more money and more money. And it keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. Getting wealthy is not about having some major breakthrough. It's just about doing the same thing over and over again and allowing money to take its course. I know in movies it seems like, hey, this guy did this one thing, he became wealthy. This guy bought this and he sold it for millions of dollars. The answer is, or he bought a stock in the 90s and now he's a billionaire. No. A lot of the times it's just compound interest, letting money grow slowly but surely. Now, number 2, guys, is going to be luck. People don't talk about this, but the reason Warren Buffett is so rich, partially, is also luck. If Warren Buffett would have been born, for example, in a different time period, or in a time period where the market wasn't as relevant, he wouldn't be where he is today, obviously. And there's also a certain level of luck to it. Now, there is skill, a lot of complexity, and a lot of hard work, but there's also luck. Now, here's an example. Let's say you've been trying to invest for a very long time, and you've been investing, and you've been putting in money for 30 years, and you finally have about $1.2 million. And you feel like you're the man, you're the woman. Oh my gosh, so awesome. And you're like, I'm lucky, right? Because I'm not in a buying market. But the next day, the market crashes, and you're down 50%, and the market stays that way for 25 years. Did you do something wrong? Were you stupid? The answer is no. You just got unlucky. So a part of making a lot of money is luck, okay? You not getting disabled, you not getting super sick, you not basically losing an important family member, you not basically losing your skill or getting fired, you not basically not even being here anymore. Those things are partially luck. There are a lot of factors in making money that you can't control. So you always have to remember, you do the right things, yes, and you work very hard, yes, and you continue doing things over and over, yes, but there's also part of it is luck. You can't control every single thing. And like Benjamin Franklin said that, you know, the more hard I work, the luckier I seem to get. It's true, but there's also partially luck. Look at me, right? I make videos every single day here on YouTube. Well, 3 times a week now. But a part of it is, yes, I work very hard for years and years, but a part of it is also luck, okay? That's just how the world works. Now, the third truth I want to tell you is time. You know why Warren Buffett and a lot of people are so wealthy? It's time. When you look at, for example, the average millionaire and their age, they're not 20, they're not 30, they're not 40, they're in their 50s, okay? And you know what happens when you're 50 years old and you've been doing the right thing for decades? The answer is, it works out, okay? For the most part, it works out. So that's why you have to remember, compound interest is important. But if you just let your money compound for one day, you're not gonna grow by much. But if you allow compound interest and time to work together simultaneously, you will have a lot of money in the end. So if you keep investing, here's an example. How much money does it take to make about $4,000 every single month from the stock market? The answer is, if you invest today $50,000 and for the rest of the next 30 years, $6 every single day, in about 30 years, you'll have about $1.2 million. You know why? Time. 50K and $6 per day turn into 1.2 million. You know how that works? Time and compound interest. You have to let time do its thing. You can't think that just because you see a millionaire on TikTok that's 20 years old, that's going to be you. Maybe it can be, maybe, just maybe, but for the most part, the average is in their 50s. So you have to let time play a factor. And here's the secret too. That's why your main focus cannot be on getting to $1 million or being a millionaire. Your main focus has to be on financial independence. You can do that a lot faster than getting to $1 million. If you only need $2,000 to live, you don't need $1.2 million. You only need about $600,000. And to get that, you can get that a lot sooner. The less money you need, the better off you're going to be. And that's why number 4 is actually going to be living below your means. I know when you think about a millionaire, you think about someone without restrictions. You think about someone where you don't have to worry about money. Money's not an issue, right? Money's not a problem. If I want to buy that, I just get it. That's not how millionaires actually live. That's not how wealthy people actually live. Because millionaires or people that are rich or financially independent, they see money as something that gets them freedom from having to work for money and having to trade their time for money. So whenever you think about, hey, you know, a millionaire can just buy a $100,000 car, more than often no. Because buying that same $100,000 car now means they don't have almost $4,000 in income every single year. And now they have to go out there and work to get that money. And now they have this car that's more expensive. Living below your means is fundamental. And I want you to also understand something, okay? Spending does not equal happiness/fulfillment. There is a certain level where you spend just enough money to get maximum fulfillment. But then once you go beyond that and you get into the luxury things where you want to fly first class every single time, where you want to drive a fancy vehicle, where you want to spend money every day and all this stuff, it's not as fulfilling as you probably think it is. And trust me, because I partially went through that, but I just know it from experience too, okay? That's the whole idea. And science also shows that once you make over $75,000, I think it is, you don't get as much fulfillment from money as you think you're going to get, okay? So living below your means is awesome, fundamental. If you make $2,000 and you only spend $1,000, that's awesome. You know, I make a good amount of money every single month, but I can live on $1,200 a month. That means that my passive income can pay all of my bills. I don't have to work if I don't want to, but I'm still working because I like it, okay? And it's pretty good stuff. A man has to have a job, in a sense, but all work doesn't have to equal money related, okay? That's very important. As you read more, you'll know more about that stuff too, okay? Now, here's the last thing you have to know when it comes to money. The last truth is going to be knowledge is better than money. Here's why. I know it sounds ridiculous, right? I would always think about this example, which is, would you rather, for example, $1 million, or would you rather know how to have $1 million? And the answer is, most people say $1 million, and then just basically learn how to use it. But for the most part, it's not really how it works, okay? You have a person that wins the lottery, and they don't know how money works, they're broke in 5 years. You have someone that got rich slow, and they know exactly how they did it, they don't tend to go broke, unless it takes some crazy risks, and usually they can build it back up. Because once you know how something works, you can always just make more of it. And for me, that knowledge is knowing how to budget, knowing how to invest, knowing how to spend less money, knowing how to own your home, knowing how to stay away from debt. There's just a lot of things when it comes to money. But just as we know a lot of things that are not true about money, and you have to relearn the truth, that also takes time. You can't be impatient. You're not gonna watch this video and just know everything about money. I wish, because that way I don't want to have to read so much, but it doesn't work that way. But my main advice is, if you want to get wealthy, spend less than you make, invest the difference, and get maximum fulfillment without spending money. I think that's very important stuff. That's just some basic advice I came up with. But thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Comment down below if you agree, and peace. Like and subscribe, by the way.